This is No Agenda.
Talking about some of this stuff.
Well, I'll do two things. I will get the quote from the actual show where we talked about it in 2000. It's at 9 or 8, maybe even 8, but 2009 for sure. I'll get the actual show that we talked about it, and I'll look at some of the newer reports. But they were predicting billions of dollars, and the reason why, there's a couple of reasons. One is the regulations for vaccines are almost non-existent. You don't really have to test it the way it is with medication.
And there's no liability.
Well, no, the government all governments around the world apparently have said, we need the vaccines. And in the United States, the Supreme Court just ruled that you cannot sue the pharmaceutical company. The Supreme Court ruled that. So they could be shooting you up with gasoline for all I care. It could be water. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. You can't sue them if it hurts you. And, of course, it's great because you're giving something to people who aren't sick. I mean, does it get any better than that, John? I mean, if you could give someone financial advice, without people needing it. It's like, I got no money. Well, you're going to take my financial advice anyway.
Yeah, you're going to pay me.
Well, you're going to pay me for it. So they're giving medicines to people or whatever it is they put in there, formaldehyde and viruses, to people who don't need it. Now, if you watch television at all, in these United States of Gitmo, everything is sponsored by pharmaceutical companies. Everything. Now, they don't. I've not seen a lot of television commercials for vaccinations, but I'm sure that's on the way. Of course, at the retail level, this is everywhere. Walgreens, all the Rite Aid, everywhere. Come in, get your shot today, and it's not just flu shot; it's whooping cough. It's all kinds of vaccinations. At retail level, it's big. They're already out there. They're promoting it. So the way that they get this into the thinking, they need to indoctrinate people. And they do this through PR companies. Of course, one of them would be Hill & Knowlton. That's with the K, the Knowlton part. And they go to the same networks where they're advertising all their other stuff, and they say, hey, I think you should run this story. Now, John, let me ask you a question. If this program were sponsored by Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer, and we're making millions of dollars rolling out their commercials, and they say, hey, we've got this little study, this thing that's really important, this breaking news, it's a study, it's scientific, it's a study, we've got science. Could you just do this story? What would we have to say?
Yeah.
You got to say, yeah, of course, well, yeah, I guess so.
We got no choice.
We got no choice but to do it. So,
now, of course, they like that. I mean, one of the things people who listen to the show long enough know that we're actually media people. We've been in the media one way, shape, or form on various levels. Both
maybe the lowest rung of show business, but I was there.
Some of it's, show business it is lowest, but when it comes to media in general, I think we have as good a chops as anybody.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, we know how it works, and it does trickle down from occasionally with some, there's somebody who you're not going to be, let's put it this way, you're working for NBC. NBC is owned by General Electric.
Well, take ABC. ABC is a little better.
ABC is owned by Disney.
Right.
ABC's...
Well, ABC News, the new president of ABC News, this 41-year-old kid, whose sister happens to be special advisor to President Obama, whose entire campaign was financed by insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, and banks. Yeah, go on, John.
The point is that when the boss says, even when you're not being told by the boss to do something,
it's apparent.
You kind of know not to do it, that's why you don't see, breakout reports about corruption in General Electric or the stock is worthless or anything like that on any of the NBC stations. You might run into that listening to Dvorak Horowitz, and because we've reported on some various newsletters that have talked about General Electric not being the world's most secure company. But you're never going to hear that on NBC because you don't want to get fired. These are high-paying jobs in a good environment, and you're just not going to get good news because they can't afford to tell the stories. So, and these drug companies have taken over, and the media is just bought in lock, stock, and barrel because it's paying everybody's bills.
Yeah, exactly.
So if your bills are being paid by these guys, what are you going to do? Bite the hand that feeds you? No.
Right. So now the way you make news is by offering a study. We've talked about this many times. If you have a study, it's a study. I mean, it's a study. It was done by scientists. So the compromised ABC News, I've just explained that connection to you,